Having recently formed a new limited company, one of the things Neil and I would always say a new business should do is get a business bank account set up as quickly as possible. So in one of our other recent videos, we set up one with Counting Up, having got a marketing letter through from them. But one of the things we've found in our review is that account's not going to quite work for us. For example, the prepaid card that it comes with won't let us pay for certain services that we use, such as Google Workspace. So in our continuing quest to find the right business bank account for us, today we're going to set up one with Monzo, which we also got a letter through for marketing after we set up our account. So let's see how Monzo compares. Welcome back to the Basis of Business channel. And as I said, what we're going to do today is apply for our Monzo business bank account. And this is part of a series of videos and central video where we compare lots of different business bank accounts from both the new entrants and the established banks to try and help you make the best decision for your business to choose the right business bank account. And we'll put a link to that video where we compare all these accounts against a number of business categories. So we'll also put that link in the description for that central video comparing them all. But for now, we're going to apply for the Monzo business bank account and see how long it takes to set up. So, Neil, we applied, we've gone through it there, we've applied for our business bank account, and it took, 5 minutes to run through? And
5 minutes or so to go through the process on the app. I think within 1, maybe 2 minutes, had a notification saying the bank account is open. You can start making transfers and things, and the card is on its way. Right. So
from an ease of opening perspective, that's pretty good. I think as a big caveat to that is you already have a Monzo personal account, and so without that, there'd have been a number of steps that you'd have had to go through that meant it wouldn't have been that quick. Not saying it wasn't good, but it's just something to bear in mind of without that personal account and having had your IDs checked, it wouldn't have been that quick.
Yeah, and I think that's, if we go back 20 odd years ago when people were opening bank accounts, it would take days because you'd have to go in with your passport, utility bill, all that sort of thing. Set up an appointment and have that. The banks have got better. Obviously, the technology has changed. My daughter opened a personal account with Monzo in the last month, and it took minutes. So she would have had to upload her passport or whatever it was. So it would have added to it, but I think it would have added minutes, not hours or days to the process. Okay,
you mentioned about the eligibility there. So there are certain types of business that Monzo will not set up account for, and we will industries they say they can't support, and as you'll see there, just running through a few, some of them are obviously more obvious than others in terms of weapons manufacturing, etc. that they're not good. But I suppose one that stood out for us really was food stands. They don't do food stands, which was a bit of a surprise there. Tattoo and nail parlors, the sort of more common things, used car dealerships. So although some of the things that you'll see in the list there are pretty obvious, there are ones that we thought they might have.
You question why. I mean, it's, you say food stands, maybe because they take more cash, and Monzo does say if you're going to be taking a lot of cash, we may not be appropriate because they charge for depositing cash, as all banks do. But these days, with being able to have whether it's Square or some of the other card services, I'm surprised that some of those are on there.
If you are on that list in terms of the food stands, etc., head over to our comparison video now of the 8-9 accounts that we compare side by side to see what other options that are there that are available to you. Sticking with Monzo from a decision point of view, the things that will affect people. There's the key decision first up of the charging or non-charging and the differences that are there. And what we've found is that that Pro account, which comes with a £5 amount charge, there are things that it offers. Probably the biggest thing, the biggest key things will be multi-user access. So something for us to think about in terms of there's two of us would probably want access to the bank account. The light version, which is free, doesn't offer that. So if we stick with Monzo, we're probably going to be paying that £5 a month, etc. And also the integration with the accounting software.
Yeah, I think that those are the key things that perhaps when you're looking at the bank account, and obviously, we're trying to highlight everything in the videos, is it may not be obvious that it's not available, but B, what that impact is for you. So, for example, having multi-user access, if there's more than one director, if you're in business with someone, would generally be key, I suppose, unless one person's going to do all the accounting and making the payments and things, which may well be the case as well. So it may be okay. But I think some of the others have multi-user access, but only for directors. So again, if you're going to have a bookkeeper, then certain bank accounts won't apply. But the Monzo one, if you're paying, it does integrate with the accounting software, and you would be able to have multi-user access.
And these are things you don't automatically think about when you're starting, as in it'll great a couple of minutes. But then as you're in and you're busy, and I just need my accountant or say my bookkeeper to have access, or just someone else who's advising you. Yeah. To not have that could be a bit of a pain.
Yeah, because nothing's insurmountable, but it could end up meaning you're having to download bank statements and send them to the bookkeeper rather than allowing them, read-only access on the account. It means you have to make all the payments yourself, whereas if you had a bookkeeper, they can be setting up payments that maybe you just authorise and so on. So again, it's horses for courses, and that's the purpose of the videos, so that hopefully we help people stop and think, is that going to be important to me before, like we did, we got the counting up thing, let's open it, and then realise actually this doesn't work for us. We've got the Monzo one, we've now opened that. We can see that Monzo Lite, the free one, does have several things that may not work for us and equally may not work for others.
The other one that's listed there in terms of the creating and sending invoices, you don't think that's a big thing in terms of a differentiator between the...
I suppose if you are a sole trader who is just, I don't know, if you're something, just you doing maybe some graphic design, or you're a dog walker, or you're a window cleaner, and you want to raise invoices from the software. I haven't seen it, but I could see that maybe that's it. Oh, I've done some work. I send the invoice from here. They pay straight into my bank account. I can see that. But you've still got to have some accounting software, whether it's a spreadsheet or a cash, a handwritten cash book or something, some sort of book of keeping a record of who you've raised invoices to, who has actually paid, who hasn't.
Because the bank account itself is not enough in terms of those.
You
recording
need
that transaction.
Yeah, and you still got to record all your expenses. So even if you are a dog walker, you're going around picking up the dogs and buying food or leads and various things. You need to keep a record of what you're spending as well to be able to produce an income and expenditure account or a full set of accounts. So that you know whether you're making money, what your tax bill's going to be, and all that sort of thing. So, on its own, I'm not convinced that that's going to be that helpful.
Another thing I think in terms of when it comes to these accounts is the support element. I think that across all banks is a big thing. I've got a business bank account with Monzo for another one of my businesses, and it's okay in terms of the chat thing. I had an interaction with him the other day where I was looking to change a name, and it's okay in terms of nothing this I don't think is ever instant in terms of you open the chat function and you do it. The replies are not always instant, but I don't think probably anyone would expect that in this day and age. But again, it's something to bear in mind of if you have an urgent issue. I think from my experience with Monzo, you'll get a response back, but in terms of it's very difficult, I think, to get a response back.
And I think the other thing, though,
from any of these,
and I think even the traditional high street banks, they are not as responsive to the SME market like they used to be. So certain banks, or all of the high street banks. So I think Lloyds, Barclays, HSBC, NatWest, they all sort of treat it the same. That if you're an SME and they'll have their criteria, but if you're turning over less than £2 or £3 million, you're classed as a small business and you're just put in a pot. You don't have a dedicated account manager. You don't have a contact. You're ringing a general helpline. You're in a call centre. They don't know your business, understand your business, and as we all know, you can be on hold for a while, and the person you're speaking to doesn't really understand what you do, so you've got to explain it all again. That may be better than an app and a chat function on an app and whatever, or having to send an email and get a response because you are having a conversation. But I think, it's a limitation of being a small business these days, that trying to find someone who's trying to find an individual who's going to work with you and help you is a lot more difficult. And especially, we can't really complain. We're not paying anything for the service, and that's a unique thing for UK banks as well.
And what I do and what I've done with Monzo for my other account is that I almost start a chat late in the evening before I go, and then I know when I go to bed, and then when I get up in the morning, I'll have a response. And the great thing is that the chat is retained there within the app on Monzo. Monzo as well has a web version, which is very easy to log on to. Compared to one, as I say, like Counting Up, which was app only. So if that's something that's important to you, I know I quite like that in terms of for certain financial things, doing it on a desktop or a Mac, compared to just in the app. The fees wise, again, good for international payments. I use Monzo for international payments on one of my other businesses, and it works absolutely fine. Fees wise, there are always fees, and there's probably better services in terms of you're looking to reduce fees, again, which we'll cover in our overall comparison video. But key points, I think, in terms of it, the money is protected up to that 85,000 with the FSCS, and I think Monzo, for my usage of it, and as we've seen there setting up, is a reasonable starting bank in terms of if you need something quick, it's probably you're not on that list.
And
it's something to consider.
It depends what you want to use the bank for. In terms of a facility to receive money and make payments and the sort of basic banking functions, then that's fine. I think, but if you are looking to have an overdraft or a loan or those sorts of things, with Monzo it is possible to do that. They have a facility to allow that, but there will be others that don't provide that. So again, it's a matter of making sure Monzo is to some extent, for the basics of I'm setting up, I'm running a business, I'm going to raise invoices, get paid, pay my expenses, pay myself, and I'm not looking to borrow money, but I need a facility to just receive and pay out money. Then Monzo, at the moment looks to tick all the boxes for that. But it's as you get a little bit more complicated, then that's when some of these challenger banks seem to fall short, and what may seem an obvious thing to you, well, of course I needed it to do that. It's not until then you think, oh, actually, doing these videos has really made me realise just how different the offerings are. You sort of think, well, they'll all be the same, but like as we saw with Counting Up, it's not a bank. With Starling, only directors can access the bank account. With Monzo, you've got to, yes, of course, you think, oh, Monzo does it. Oh, but there's an extra fee applied for that. And so, all those things, hopefully these videos are going to help people choose the right bank before a month down the line, it doesn't do what I need it to do. And
one of the, obviously, Monzo and all these, there's no branch access, there's no sort of, if you like going in somewhere in terms of particularly if you need something sorted, etc., with Monzo, that thing is not there. Cash deposit wise come with a fee. I know that's becoming less and less common, but if you're a cash sort of generation business, that's gonna come with a fee. International payments do work, but they can take a bit of time, but they do work. So we've run through a number of things there. As I say, head over to our comparison video now in terms of where we go through all the 8 or 9 banks I think we've got in total, where we compare them against different categories. If you think Monzo might not be the one for you, etc., but we'll do compare it there with a bunch of other banks there. Let us know in the comments if there's anything specific about Monzo you'd like us to look at and answer, and we'll come back to you in the comments. We hope you find this video useful in making the best decision when it comes to your bank account. Please check out our other videos on the basics of business, and most importantly, as always, we wish you all the best with your business journey.